You want to know what Howard Stern, Joe from JK Films, and Brian Rose have in common? They've read this book, Getting Things Done. If you're curious if you should read this, watch this video. Hey, what's going on? It's your favorite pharmacist on the internets. It's your boy Kevin Yee, the PharmD. And today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite books that actually has been sitting on my bookshelf forever, where I didn't read it. Now, if you're new to my series, Hustler's Library, this is where I talk about the different books of my library. I literally am a huge book nerd, and so there's all these books on here, man, that I just like to just talk about. And of course, if you guys like my reviews, you want to support more of my channel, use my affiliate links below just to support me, baby. Also, if you like Hustler's Library, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, just so that you stay up to date with any books that I come out with as well. Okay, so in Hustler's Library, there's really 5 things I talk about. I talk about 1, when did this book come into my life? 2, why am I talking about it? 3, what is it all about? 4, how am I using it? And 5, who'd I recommend it to? Anyways, let's get going and get cracking, baby. So first thing, when did this book come into my life? So it's really interesting. So back in 2014, I lived with my friend Joe. If you don't know Joe, you've probably seen him on JK Films, JK News and all that. And on our bookcase, we used to have this book, Getting Things Done. Now, I did not jack Joe's copy of Getting Things Done, but really Joe had a bookcase, and one of the books on his bookcase was Start With Why, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it was this book too. But he never really talked about this book too much. Anyways, so we're at the house, but I never took the time to read it because I was always busy with pharmacy. I was out and about and all that sort of stuff. And at the time, I used to work pharmacy as well. So I used to hear about this book from Howard Stern all the time. He was like talking about Getting Things Done, one of the best books on productivity that he still uses today. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's Howard Stern. I was just like, you know what? I like him for his like dirty jokes and like skits and stuff. They're pretty funny, but you know, I still didn't pick it up, right? So that's the second time. So on the way back and forth, Howard Stern would talk about it all the time. Now, the third time when I actually bought this book, I believe I was at the last bookstore up here in downtown LA, and I was just wandering kind of around. You know, I see this book, I see David Allen. I was like, oh, cool. Why not just pick up his book and try to read it, right? Picked up his book. I literally still have the price tag. Like I bought it for $5, man. Like literally $5. It says April 2016, I think. So I had it on my bookcase, but you know, sometimes I forget what that Japanese syndrome is. But like I had a habit back then, and I still sometimes do, where I buy books and I never read them. Right? So this book was literally sitting on my bookcase for the longest time, right? I was watching London Real, Brian Rose. If you don't watch him, he gives these interviews, these long form content, really great high quality stuff. But he was talking about he was talking to David Allen, the author of this book, and it was just really interesting how this guy's career came to be. I can't remember all the details of it anymore, but he was talking about how he delved into consulting, right? He was very involved with the personal development world. He actually was a coach at one of the personal development companies I was with as well. I think it was like Spring Water or Life Water or some shit like that. Can't remember, but it was associated with like Choice Center or something like that. I don't know, something like that. But you know, I could tell the reason why I bring that up was just that, you know, this guy was very kind of like, he was very esoteric, but he had the tactics at the same time, and that's really important, very rare. And so I was like, you know what, if London Real, Joe, and Howard Stern really like this book, maybe I should read it. I should absolutely read it, right? And here's why I'm talking about it, because it really helped me organize my life. If you don't know, I literally have like keep all my projects in folders now. I have a paper tray and stuff. I have another video kind of talking about my setup and stuff like that. And I have a huge stack of paper all the time, and I just write down all my thoughts every single morning. Now, I'll be honest, I always struggle with the kind of like the weekly review and clearing everything up, but at least like it gets it out of my mind and I can just focus on executing a lot of time. And I think it's really great. It gives you a system of how to kind of organize all your ideas, thoughts, projects, and all that sort of stuff, right? So if you're like really into like consulting, or you got clients, you got digital marketing clients, maybe you're a high ticket closer, or maybe you're just like a manager. Even if I was like still a pharmacy manager and I had this system, it would have helped me out so much. What is this book about? It's really a book about kind of product management, right? Like almost like consulting, right? Because you're trying to figure out where you are right now, where you're trying to go, figure out your why, and really kind of like lay out a roadmap of all the stuff that you need to do to get to a project, right? So for example, like one thing I really like is that he has this inbox system where it's just like stuff, like literally you write down every single idea, just put it in it. Like he was warning you in this book, like it'll take you 8 hours to just get all your ideas down. Literally when I was reading it, I cleared out, like I took all the pieces of paper in my apartment and I was just trying to organize everything, you know. And you literally have the stuff and you have an inbox, right? And so you ask yourself, hey, is it actionable? It's either yes or no, right? So if it's no, you either store it in reference or put in a someday idea like type of thing, right? But if it is actionable, you ask yourself, can I do this in 2 minutes? And if it's yes, you do it right there and then. If it takes longer, you can either give it to someone else to delegate, or you can actually defer it. So do it at a later time where you're able to execute. And usually that step requires, hey, what are the next actions, like actionables? When am I going to schedule this? And does it go in a project folder, right? So I really like that systemized approach. It's very simple. I think the best things are always very simple by nature. It's so simple that you're like, duh, like no shit, Sherlock. Like, of course it's going to be like that, right? But sometimes we forget. And what I like to do is actually just print out the roadmap of how to make decisions and just put it in front of me, just so I'm aware of it a lot of time. So you're probably curious about how I use it. I use it everything from my YouTube channel to my clients. Each client has actually a separate folder. I have things like for my podcast and stuff, or like any product launch I'm doing as well. I make sure to kind of keep in separate folders and I break things down. But like I said, I do have trouble doing the weekly review and stuff. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to kind of figure it out in my life somehow. I really like the paper system, but you can do it electronically too. For me, I'm more of a visual person, so when I feel something and when I see something, it makes me want to do it right away. It gets really addicting to just write down all your thoughts, right? It's really helped me kind of reverse engineer problems that I have and really analyze, hey, why am I doing certain things? Why do I want to be super fit? Why do I want to work with this? Why am I working with clients? And when I actually work with my clients for my sales agency or high ticket closing agency, I use a similar discovery pattern and just kind of break down our projects like that using folders and stuff like that too. It's really helps having that kind of framework to just help me out. Who'd I'd recommend this to? I honestly recommend this book to any business owner, consultant, or even project manager, or even manager of a pharmacy. If you are leading people and you need certain things to get done, or even your own personal projects, I highly recommend this book, because guess what? School never really teaches you this stuff. And honestly, it's probably good for students too. It reminded me a lot about these books, actually. How to Win at College and How to Become a Straight A Student. Sounded like a lot of very similar strategies that the top students in these high schools and colleges use as well. Yeah, and I think it's a really great book about kind of reminding yourself why are you doing things, and it brings a tactical strategy to help you kind of get more things done. And rather than just stay busy all the time, it kind of helps you take a step back and think, what am I doing with my life? Anyways, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also let me throw a question of the day. What system do you use to manage all your projects? What system do you guys use to get more things done? And also, if you like my Hustlers Library series, make sure to click on one of these playlists here. I will see you guys next time on Hustlers Library. Take care. Peace, mother people. Bye.